Good morning, I'm Isaiah Jacob. The first round of the college football playoff yesterday began with a slugfest between Miami and Texas A&M, where the Hurricanes came out on top 10-3. They will move on to face the Buckeyes on New Year's Eve. Later on, Ole Miss, without former head coach Lane Kiffin, went on to steamroll Tulane 41-10, matching them up with Georgia for New Year's Day. And then for the night game, Oregon scored a 51-34 win over JMU. They will face Texas Tech in the quarterfinals. For college basketball, OSU Hoops lost a heartbreaker yesterday on the road against 12th-ranked North Carolina. The Buckeyes fell 71-70, while the Jackets lost in similar fashion last night to the Anaheim Ducks 4-3. And then today for NFL action, in the 1 p.m. slate, the Browns host Josh Allen and the Bills, while the Bengals go on the road to play Quinn Ewers in Miami. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Your boss won't listen to you. Your spouse doesn't listen to you. Your kids barely know you're alive. But here at The Fan, we love and appreciate you.
Just when we learn to appreciate what a huge wussy you are.
This is the show for the people, by the people. It's The Fan Call-In Show.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Here are the leaders of the Lunatic Fringe, Scotty Vegas and Ryan Baker.
Well, we still got to wait like 10 days, but we now know Ohio State's opponent for the Cotton Bowl. It will be Miami. And Scotty, that I didn't see a lot yesterday that makes me scared of the Hurricanes, that's for sure. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in to the Fan Call-In Show. I am Ryan Baker. He is Scotty Vegas. We want to hear from you. 614-821-9710 is the number to call. Our old friend, the U, is the opponent New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that's going to be a blast. And as frustrating as yesterday was as far as a college football fan, where you're locked in and you're like, okay, this is going to be one of the great days in college football. And then you had a first game that kind of lived up to the billing and the fact that it was close and entertaining at the end. And then you had two clunkers. You look forward to New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and the four matchups are awesome and incredible, right? So we can't wait for that. But I exactly how you brought it up is, does Miami scare you at all? And I think a couple things. When I start looking at this game ahead of time, Miami can run the football. They got a great running back, and they can play defense. They got a really good defense, a great defensive line. The thing for me when I look at Miami and why I'm not necessarily scared of Miami is because two big things when you're handicapping a football game, you're looking at head coach and you're looking at a quarterback. And you're looking at these things and you're like, well, Carson Beck does not scare me at all, right? He does not scare me at all.
At least one to you.
He's a guy who, watching him yesterday, was extremely inaccurate. And I know it was windy, but extremely inaccurate. Can't really move all that well. And then Mario Cristobal, to me, is an okay coach. I don't think he's a great coach. So when I'm looking at this matchup, big game like this, I think big advantage Ohio State. And I think this line, which is coming out like double digits, 10, 11 points, is about right for me.
I thought it was interesting that when they did the look-ahead lines before that game, they said Ohio State would be an 8.5-point favorite over Miami.
Yeah.
After that game, they're like, it's double digits. We really didn't see. And the odds makers didn't see really anything that scares them about Miami. Obviously, Reuben Bain is a problem at that defensive end.
Yeah.
Malioa as an offensive tackle, really good. So Caden Curry, Kenyatta Jackson, whoever's lined up by him is going to have a full day with Malioa. There's a reason Ohio State recruited Mark Fletcher, the running back. He's pretty good. And Malachi Toney, as a freshman, is a beast. He's somebody you're going to have to watch. But I'm with you. There's nothing about that Miami offense that really, really scares me, especially going against this Ohio State defense.
Yeah, and I'm curious what the listeners think. Is there any concern for you going into that game on New Year's Eve? Number here is 614- 821-9710. We love to get your opinions. This is your show. Let us know. What did you think about the games yesterday? Obviously, you had that first game and then two stinker games after that. Do you hate this college football playoff format where you had two group of five teams in? I thought it was a huge letdown, Ryan. I was all locked in and ready to go for the college football playoff. The Friday night game was okay. We started out Saturday morning okay, but then it just got ugly. And leave it to college football to have the potential of having such a great day and then having such a letdown as far as how this thing was designed, because it really sucked. It really sucked. And it was disappointing because yesterday should have been a showcase day for college football.
It's funny that you're like, oh, we're all locked in for this big day yesterday. Like, I don't really think anybody thought yesterday was going to be a big day. Like, you've got the noon game, and then let's turn on Ohio State hoops, because there was really, I don't think anybody thought that those games would be games after that noon game, and they really weren't. I can't believe Oregon allowed James Madison to cover. That's crazy.
I don't even want to get into that, Ryan.
There, but yeah, I don't know. Those games, and
disappointing though. That's a fault of college football. That is the fault of the commissioners that designed this playoff. The fact that we are sitting there watching James Madison and Tulane on a day that really should be a dominant day for college football. Instead, we're flipping over to college basketball. We're flipping over to the NFL. The NFL had entertaining games going on. And so, like, it took our eyeballs off of college football on what should have been a college football day, Ryan.
And it would have been different, I believe, if you had Notre Dame and, say, Vanderbilt or someone
Texas,
else in there, or Texas. Would those games been different? Probably. But this has been my problem with this all along, because we're talking about Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost to those two teams that couldn't score more than 13 points in a game at noon.
Yeah.
They lost not to one of those teams. They lost to both of them. And we can say all we want about this is exciting, it's more games, blah, blah, blah. There's not 12 teams that deserve it.
I agree with that. However, if we had matchups like that were more entertaining, I would have been tuned in and excited to watch them, right? Like last night, that 3:30 game and that night game felt like we were watching lopsided September football. It really did. It was like we're watching Ohio State play a MAC school is how it felt yesterday watching those games. And that's how we had our college football playoff. Just really disappointing. I did want to ask you, and I want to get the opinion of the listener, of course, but I did want to ask you, going into these quarterfinal games, does it change your lean one way or the other in these games? Because I will tell, watching those games yesterday, because I will tell you, my opinion on Ole Miss has changed a smidge. Watching them play yesterday, they were dominant against Tulane. They should be dominant against Tulane. But I will tell you, I think Ole Miss, they had all the distractions of losing Lane Kiffin. Ole Miss, to me, looks like a team that can beat Georgia. And I'm not sure I would have said that before watching them play yesterday.
This is what I will tell you about that. What was it, 45-10 the first time they played Tulane? It's 41-10 this time. They're just a better team than Tulane. Also, I've seen them play Georgia already, and Georgia won. And I feel like Georgia's gotten maybe a little better since then. So, no, my opinion hasn't changed. Like, they played a team they already played, and they beat them by the same amount. They're just a better team. Like, there's no Lane Kiffin, no Lane Kiffin, their coaches, no coaches, and they had most of their coaches outside of Kiffin there yesterday. They're just a better program than Tulane. So, again, I already saw that. I've already seen Georgia beat them. No, it doesn't change my opinion at all.
So do you see these quarterfinals going? So are you expecting the favorites, Indiana to take care of Alabama?
Yes.
You're expecting Georgia to take care of Ole Miss. You're obviously expecting Ohio State to win. And then you got about a 50-50 game.
The only thing that might have changed is I thought Oregon would beat Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And they still, I think, probably will, but I'm not sure. And that was always kind of an unknown to me because I haven't followed Texas Tech a ton. And I know their only loss was when Baron Morton was out and he's healthy. But maybe I give Texas Tech a little more of a chance then. And like you said, that was kind of a 50-50 toss-up. I thought Oregon would win just because I think the roster is a little better. I think that's weird. They were winning big. They probably took their foot off the gas. Let's not get anybody hurt. Let's move on and advance in this thing. But, yeah, my opinion doesn't change at all.
Yeah, see, my opinion changed a smidge on Ole Miss, watching them a little closer. I do think that Ole Miss-Georgia game, to me, is close to a 50-50 game. I feel like I do still feel like Indiana is the play against Alabama because, again, we come back to the quarterback play, Mendoza versus Ty Simpson. I think big advantage. I like Indiana in that one. I do think that watching that Oregon game, and I watched it very closely because I had a big bet on Oregon minus 20.5 yesterday and backdoor cover, and I went to bed crying. But Oregon's defense to me was horrendous in that second half. And you can say, hey, they were up by so much, they let their foot off the gas. But they gave up 500 yards of offense to James Madison. And James Madison was just throwing the ball all over the place on him. So I am a little bit concerned about that one. And then going back to the other quarterfinal with Ohio State, I told you I think that's about a 24-10 type win for Ohio State.
Before we take our first break, let's head out to those phone lines for the first time. Let's go to Ben in Lincoln. Ben in Lincoln, good morning. Thanks for calling in this morning.
Good morning, guys. So once again, we listen to you guys every Sunday morning on our way to church. And we wanted to call and just say thank you once again for the Hall of Fame tickets that we got. We are actually going this week.
Oh, awesome.
We're leaving today, and we're going to spend some time up there. And so we just wanted to say thank you. But Lincoln wanted to say something about the Miami game yesterday. Go ahead, bud.
I would like to say about the Miami kicker when he was 1 for 4 from field goals. I just feel like when you're not home and that pressure gets to you, that you get nervous and you can't focus.
Yeah, especially in those windy conditions. Thank you guys so much for the call and enjoy the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'll be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on Hall of Fame Village up there and just everything they've built around the Pro Football Hall of Fame because it is just an awesome experience up there.
Guys, I went up there last week, and it's awesome. It is very cool. So I'm very excited that you guys have the opportunity to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame together this next week. I did the same thing with my son and daughter a week ago, and we had a blast doing that. Speaking of the kickers, though, just real quick, because
I don't want to talk about. I don't like kickers.
I know. I don't like kickers either.
I remember there was a time when we loved kickers here at Ohio State. I don't love them anymore.
But there is something going on in college football. It's amazing how awful some of these kickers end up being in these pressure situations.
It was windy yesterday, Scotty. Come on now. It was windy.
But the night before, you have Oklahoma's kicker, who's a great kicker, miss a couple kicks. It's like unbelievable. The pressure really gets to these kids kicking the football as us as Buckeye fans know.
614-821-9710 is the number to call. We want to hear from you. Jeremiah, we see you're on the line. We will get to you next. It's the Fan Call-In Show on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
This Christmas, get a bonus AI Essentials course when you enroll in any My Computer Career IT program by the end of the year. That's a $3,900 value. Attend classes online or on campus. Enjoy lifetime job placement support and IT certifications in high demand. Go to mycomputercareer.edu today and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Conditions apply to AI offer and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
Oven-baked French toast, hot melty cheese, and meat, and meat, and meat. Introducing UDF's new 3-meat French toast sandwich, piled with bacon, sausage, and Canadian bacon. United Dairy Farmers. Mornings made for you.
Timmy Hall and real common man here for our friends at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
We've got plenty of holiday specials for you this month. You can enjoy a 4-course wine dinner at the lounge at Final Cut. Plus, there's holiday takeout specials.
And we got happenings on New Year's Eve.
What's happening?
Winning. You could win a 2026 Chevy Traverse, $35,000 in cash, or $50,000 in Penn slot play.
Become a member of our rewards program on the Penn Play app and get a $20 dining credit.
It's all going down this month at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800 gambler.
'Tis the season to not feel groggy. I know that's not how the song goes, but it's how the rush of the holidays can make us feel. Eric Reeser here and my friends at Hydrate Me Med Spa have the goods to keep you looking and feeling your best as the year comes to an end. 4 convenient locations in Central Ohio offering medical-grade IV and aesthetic treatments. If you're like me and get a little queasy at the thought of an IV, not a big needle person, I get it. But their staff of incredible certified nurse practitioners makes the process easy. Get your body ready for a successful holiday season by booking your drip today at hydratememedspa.com.
This is Ryan Krieger, and at Krieger Ford, we know life's busy. Let us handle your car care. Enjoy our convenient pickup and delivery service, or have our technicians come to you with our mobile service van. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today only at KriegerFord.com.
Wrinkles, gray hair, and hearing loss are common signs of getting older. But being short of breath, having tightness in your chest, coughing, and wheezing are not. If you are experiencing these symptoms, you may be one of the millions of people who are living with a condition called COPD but don't know it. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years of better breathing to your life. For more information, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
I lost count of how many foster homes I lived in. 20, maybe more. Each time, a new family, a new room, but never a space that felt like mine.
There are more than 100,000 children in foster care waiting to be adopted. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is working to help find them a permanent home.
Now I have my own room and decorated it myself. And just like my family, it's mine to keep.
If you have room in your home or your heart, see how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
Get Eco.
ECO. Aaron, how is a regular water heater different from a tankless water heater?
A regular water heater keeps a tank of water hot and ready for you to use when you need it.
Get Eco.
ECO. And a tankless water heater?
A tankless water heater instantly heats the water for you whenever you need it, so you never run out of hot water.
Get Eco.
ECO.
That's what makes regular water heaters and tankless water heaters different.
But they're also both alike.
Yes, they are.
They both heat water.
Get Eco.
ECO.
But there's another way they are like.
What's that?
They both need to be flushed out once a year if you want to avoid big problems.
Well, I have a solution.
Really?
EcoFi Advantage. Flushing out your water heaters is just one of the long list of things they do for you every year for just $28 a month.
Get Eco.
ECO. EcoFi Advantage.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Being diagnosed with leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, or one of over 100 other types of blood cancer makes people want more time to do the things they love. That means more time to be artists, prom dates, world travelers, and moms. We are Blood Cancer United, the world's leading organization focused solely on blood cancer research, support, and advocacy. We do the most for more people with blood cancer, so people with blood cancer can do more of whatever they want. Blood Cancer United. Join us at bloodcancerunited.org.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Mostly sunny skies are expected here for your Sunday, but it will be a colder one with highs in the mid-30s here for this afternoon. Winds out of the northwest at 5 to 15 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, tracking mostly cloudy skies and temperatures back to the lower 40s. And then eventually we are looking at some scattered showers arriving here for Monday night into Tuesday morning. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination. Your kids and your spouse might not listen to you, but we will. This is the Fan Call-In Show.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
New Year's Eve, it is Ohio State in Miami in the Cotton Bowl in the college football playoff. Does Miami scare you at all? We want to hear from you. 614-821-9710. We'll discuss anything in the sports world, whatever you want. It is your show, the Fan Call-In Show. 614-821-9710 is that number. Jeremiah, you have been holding for a while, so let's go ahead and get to you. Good morning, Jeremiah.
Good morning, fellas. I got a couple, three things, so I'll get right into it.
that Miami running game, I think they're going to be the ones having problems because they haven't seen anything like Styles, Reeves, and Downs running downhill, filling and making tackles and the speed they have. And if we keep that freshman receiver in front of us, because he's their only playmaker, I've actually watched him play a couple times this year, and he's good. If he had a real quarterback, he'd be putting up real numbers. To keep him in front of us at all costs, defense will take care of itself. The last thing I want to say is we got 10 days to play, and we opened up, I think you said 10 and a half. So as a Buckeye fan, we got to understand the national narrative will be all Miami this week, how they can beat the Buckeyes, how great Miami is at this, how great Miami is at that, because they got to get their Miami fill in before the, I'd say next week, before the game, because after that, there'll be no more Miami the rest of the year.
Jeremiah, thank you so much for the call. We appreciate that. And listen, I think he's kind of right. And I was thinking about this. If I'm Ohio State and I want to play against this Miami team with what I was watching, I would almost – Malachi Toney's really good, and he's going to get his, I think. Not as much against Ohio State. I would almost – and I was trying to think of, like, who matches up best against him, and I don't want to take – like match up a Caleb Downs on him and take Caleb out of the rest of the defense. I was almost thinking just put Jermaine Matthews on him and let Jermaine Matthews follow him everywhere he goes and let Jermaine worry about Malachi Toney and everybody else do their thing. And if Malachi Toney gets one or two on you, okay. But that way you don't have to – Fletcher, he showed some, and he's right. He hasn't played Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese. He hasn't played those guys. But that's what I was kind of thinking about that. Like, I wouldn't mind if Ohio State did that. If they just said, Jermaine Matthews, you follow Toney, everybody else will take care of everything else.
Yeah, so I called up a buddy of mine who is an ACC fan. Believe it or not, there are ACC fans out there, but he watched a lot of Miami football this year. And he and I were talking before the A&M game. We both kind of were on the side of betting Miami in that game. And so then after the game was over, we talked about, okay, what do you think the spread for Ohio State Miami will be? And we thought, somewhere in that 7-10 range. And I think the thing with Miami, they have a great defense. The area that they're the weakest is probably their linebackers and up the middle. And so I think that the Ohio State might have the opportunity with their tight ends, in the middle of the field to get some yardage there. So I like the matchup. I just feel like Miami's not going to be able to score with Ohio State. So I could see it being a 24-10 type football game. I just don't see Miami getting to 14 to 17 points. I really don't. Ryan, looking at it and watching their game yesterday, they can run the football. Fletcher was awesome. He had 170 yards on the ground. I just don't think that I think Carson Beck, if you force him to throw, he will make a couple mistakes. They'll get to Carson Beck, and I just don't see Miami scoring a ton.
It's funny, Scotty, you say that because you can say that for everyone that plays Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
I can't see him getting to 14 to 17 points. Well, not very many have. Illinois scored 16. Penn State scored 14.
Yep.
That's it. Indiana 13. So nobody really got to that 14 to 17 point list there. I especially with what we saw from that Miami offense yesterday, I cannot see them scoring a lot of points either here. Let's head back out to those phone lines. Let's go to Larry. Larry, good morning. Thanks for waking up early with the Fan Call-In Show.
Good morning. What I was thinking was that I love Justin, but he seems to throw into double and triple coverage.
Julian, right? Are you talking about Julian?
Yeah, didn't I say Saint? Well, I meant Julian, sorry. Anyway, he throws in the triple and double coverage a lot, and I'm wondering if that could bite us in the butt down the road.
Yeah, so look, his numbers as far as accuracy this year are off the charts, right? The best completion percentage. I don't have my concern going into these playoffs really isn't the quarterback position. It really isn't. My concern is being able to run the football. Like, that's the one thing that, okay, you and I, Ryan, were talking about this of chances of teams winning the national championship. And we both agree that if Ohio State plays the football up to the level that they had all the way up until that Big Ten championship game, Ohio State should beat everybody, right? Like, in this playoffs, there's not a team that should scare Ohio State because Ohio State should be the best team in this field. I know Indiana beat Ohio State. I think Ohio State in that Big Ten championship game played about a D football game and still had an opportunity late in the game to tie it. And so, in my opinion, I'm not worried about Julian. My biggest concern is running the football going into the playoffs.
Julian Sayin this year, 3,323 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and he completed 78.4% of his passes. That is number one in the country by quite a bit. Julian, 78.4. I'm just looking here to see who was next closest of guys who threw a lot of passes. Guess what? Next closest was Carson Beck. Believe it or not, percentage? Carson Beck was 74.5%. Now, Carson Beck also has 10 interceptions on the year, and that's what we thought, like, against this Ohio State defense especially, Carson Beck would throw some picks. We got to remember, too, this is Julian's first year starting of college football.
Yeah.
Like, those numbers are ridiculously impressive for him. I understand a couple times there's some things where he's made a couple passes and you're like, well, what was that? You know who else did that last year? Will Howard did that a lot last year. He had about 1 or 2 passes every game until that playoff run where you were like, what the heck was he thinking? And that was a dude who had played a lot of college football. Julian Sayin has just completed his first year starting as a starter in college football. So I'm not worried about Julian Sayin either.
I'm not either. Larry seems to be a little bit concerned. I will ask you, because I said the running game is my biggest fear. I also feel like up front.
Fear for Ohio State?
For Ohio State, okay. Yeah. And then I'm also a little worried up front after watching that game against Indiana. I think they'll get that corrected, but the pressure that Indiana was getting throughout that game was a problem in the Big Ten championship game, so that's got to be fixed. What is your biggest concern heading into the playoffs?
My biggest concern is the play calling in the red zone. I'm not worried about the running game. I never was all year. And especially if you say Miami's weak at the linebacker spot, that tells me Bo Jackson's having a big day. That offensive line that we saw against Indiana, I'm not sure what happened there. And let's give Indiana some credit, right? They're the number 2 defense in the country, and they showed that in that Big Ten championship game. And I don't think we probably gave them enough credit for that heading into that game. But I think this offensive line is fine, too. Like, they probably had their worst game against Indiana after they had their best game against Michigan. So, unfortunately, when you've got 18 to 22-year-old kids, sometimes this just happens. I'm not worried about the running game. I'm not worried about the offensive line.
Short yardage, and red zone.
Yes, when Ohio State gets inside the 20, can we stop taking 4 and 17 off the field? Yeah. I understand it's cool. Wow, we got all these tight ends, and we think they're good. Let's go use them. Guess what? They were never in consideration to go to New York for the Heisman Trophy. 4 is the best player in college football. Quit taking him off the field when you want to score points.
I'm with you. I'm with you on the short yardage, too. Like, that is an absolute concern, that if you're in a huge game and you're settling for field goals or, speaking of concerns, field goal kicking in big games is another concern for me.
I'm not even worried about settling for field goals as much. Get the points. Just make sure you make the field goals. I'm all about points. Like, points win games, so I don't mind fielding. Just get points, please.
But, Ryan, I'm nervous of the kicker that's trying to get you points.
I understand being nervous of the kicker, but what I'm saying is I don't mind settling for field goals as long as you're making them and putting points on the board. David has a concern about something else with this Buckeyes team. We will get to that in 2 minutes. It's the Fan Call-In Show on The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony, and it's Happy Honda Days at your main Honda of Dublin. What am I going to give you? How about rates as low as 0%? You want no payments for 90 days? You got it. Do you have a trade-in? I'll make sure Rich gives you an extra $1,000 for your trade. Yep, an extra $1,000. Or I'll slide you right into a brand new Honda with leases starting from only $239 a month. Happy Honda Days right now at your main Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or online at yourmainhondaofdublin.com.
Put a new sound on an old song this season at Lion's Den, the official store of pleasure, passion, and romance.
Dormar, you're kind of cute.
Ugh, gross. Can I come over to your house one time and you not have your husband prancing around in its tighty-whities?
Well, I can't do laundry because our septic line is clogged.
Call Dormar. They do same-day plumbing repair.
Dormar, you're kind of cute.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Hurry! It's our last chance to donate for 2025.
Every child deserves a safe, loving, and permanent home. Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find families for children who've lingered in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Tinny.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb, the Fan. Back to the show of the fans, by the fans, and for these crazy fans. The Fan Call-In Show.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Talking about the Buckeyes in the Cotton Bowl against Miami. Something we haven't even talked about that you and I were just talking about in the break. Who in the heck's going to coach Michigan moving forward?
Wild, right? I think you just give the job to Biff Pierogi.
Pierogi?
Biff Pierogi can be the head coach of Michigan, and let's go forward with that. You know what? I'm done with the panic as far as like, okay, Michigan's now going to not end up with a good coach, because I'll be honest. Look at the Penn State coaching search, where it went on and went on and went on, and it became like, oh my gosh, Penn State's going to end up with nobody. And then I think they ended up making a good hire. So I'm going to wait.
You mean they hired James Franklin?
Well, they hired Matt Campbell.
Because they're not any better right now.
Correct. I'm not saying that they're better, but everybody was saying that this was going to be a disaster of a coaching search. And
it pretty much was.
It was, until they ended up with, I think, a good hire in the very end.
You ended up with who you had. That's it. Like, why didn't you just keep Franklin? You're not, and we can get into this later.
Yeah.
And you can say, oh, this is a fine coaching search. No, it wasn't, because you fired your guy first to get ahead of the musical chairs and get the pick that you wanted, and you didn't do that. And you settled for basically what you had.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a disaster of a head coaching search to me for Penn State.
As far as Michigan goes, they ended up with a guy that I think is a good hire. Now, there are betting odds out there on who the next Michigan head coach will be. Jeff Brom, actually, believe it or not, yesterday was the favorite at -150. You have Dan Mullen, even money. How interesting would that be, Dan Mullen?
Would he bring Alex Orji back with him?
Jed Fish, Washington's still up there, 2-1. There's a little bit of connection there with him in the past with Jim Harbaugh in Michigan there.
And I heard people say that Fish would crawl over broken glass to get the job because his family hates Seattle. They haven't even moved there with him. Yeah. And I heard he would die for the job.
And I believe it. I just wonder how much Michigan wants to completely move on from their recent history, right? And so you would move on and not hire a guy who was here relatively recently, or at least here by Ann Arbor is what I mean.
We can get back into some of that talk here in a minute. First, let's go out back to the phone lines. Again, the number 614-821-9710. We want to hear from you. David, you've been hanging on patiently. Good morning. Thank you for calling the Fan Call-In Show.
Good morning. Listen, I feel the same way you do. This is what bothers me is
sometimes Ryan Day gets hard-headed. He will not change. Like last year against Michigan, he tried to run against 2 number 1 draft choices. Why would you take 4, 17, and 25 out of the game? They had a drive that started at the 10-yard line, and they went all the way to the 11. Why would you take them out of the game and put 3 guys in their stupid 13 and 14 personnel group in that weren't playing in the game? Why wouldn't you leave your 3 best players in the game in the red zone? It's crazy.
David, thank you for the call. And listen, some of it has been questionable, I believe, this year with the play calling in the short yardage, in the red zone situation. The one thing I will say is this, and I'm surprised it didn't happen more in the Big Ten championship game. And again, give Indiana a lot of credit. That defense is really, really good. They're the second-ranked defense in the country behind this Ohio State defense. The one thing I will say against that is we saw Ryan Day coach differently in the playoffs last year. They opened it up more. They let the Ferrari loose a little bit. They got on the Autobahn and they went. And I would have to think you're not playing a 16-game schedule anymore if you're Ohio State. You are playing a 3-game schedule now. I would think, just like you saw last year in that 4-game playoff run, you would see the same this year from this Buckeye team.
That's well said. And guess what? I think there's also going to be a little bit of an edge on this team. Feeling like, okay, they got snubbed a little bit, like Jeremiah Smith with the Biletnikoff, right? We saw the tweet that he put out after he was passed over for the Biletnikoff. You have a little bit of edge coming off that loss, losing that Indiana National or Big Ten championship game. I like the situation that Ohio State is in as far as how this bracket is going. I think they're on the right side of this bracket versus, to me, the other side is tougher, where you've got Indiana, Texas Tech, Oregon. I think this is set up for Ohio State. I really do. Looking at it, they're a double-digit favorite over Miami. Georgia, Ole Miss, good football teams. Not to me, neither one of them scare me. So I like how this is set up for a run for Ohio State.
Yeah, I've been saying this for a while. I think the only team in the country that beats Ohio State is Ohio State. And again, we got to give Indiana credit in that Big Ten championship game, but I don't think that was Ohio State's A, B, or C game, quite frankly, in Indianapolis that night for whatever reason. And I'm not saying Ohio State beat themselves that night. Like I said, we got to give credit to Indiana and that defense and Coach Cignetti. But yeah, if Ohio State plays the way Ohio State can, nobody in this thing is beating them. Back to Jeremiah real quick. Isn't it interesting? I think if you polled 100 college football fans, I would say, 70 of them, maybe 75 would say Jeremiah Smith's the best player in college football. And he's never got any awards. And I know that's not what Ohio State is playing for, is those individual awards. And I understand the numbers aren't there. That dude's the best wide receiver in college football.
Yes.
That's what the Biletnikoff Award is supposed to go to. And he was the best wide receiver in college football last year, too.
Yeah, but I also kind of, Ryan, like that he didn't win it.
For sure.
Because I think that could bring a little edge and a little kick in the butt that this team needed at the end here, right? Like, you lose that Indiana game. You lose out on awards. The quarterback that you thought going into the final week of the season had a chance to win the Heisman Trophy ends up in 4th place for the Heisman Trophy. I think there's going to be a little edge on this Ohio State football team. Hey, I wanted to talk with you briefly about this college football playoff and yesterday, and you brought up an interesting point of how the playoff should be formatted going forward, right? Because to me, yesterday was a huge miss for the sport of college football. Like, I have always wanted an expanded playoff. I thought, once we got to 12, it's like, all right, now just think about that opening weekend where you got incredible games. And what we had 2 stinkers. We had 2 stinkers, and we had one really defensive battle, and then we had a fun game on Friday night too, but it was disappointing as a whole yesterday. You brought up that you would love to see them just take the top 12 teams by the BCS rankings, get rid of the selection committee, just go by actual BCS rankings, which we did years and years and years ago. And I'm with you because I understand that people look at the NCAA tournament and you're like, oh, a Cinderella story is fun in college basketball. I get it. But yesterday was so disappointing in watching two teams that really did not belong. I can see if you are a group of 5 member and you're undefeated or you found your way into the top 15 or top 12 in the country, then giving that school a shot. But when you have a 2-loss team like we had Tulane and you have a James Madison that neither team had any shot, that was a disappointment yesterday, Ryan.
Yeah, and let's go to a couple points on your college basketball. I would argue that the difference in college basketball between team number 1 and team number 68 might be closer than the difference between team number 1 and team number 12 in college football. Like, I think the difference in the top teams in college football is drastically different compared to college basketball. The other thing I'll say is we love a Cinderella story, but we don't when it gets late in the tournament, and the TV ratings prove that.
Yeah.
Like when George Mason made their run to the Final Four, nobody cared and nobody watched those games. Like, we loved it in the first couple.
Yes.
But when we get to the championships, we want Carolina, we want Duke, we want UConn, we want Kentucky, we want the Blue Bloods, we want those teams that we're used to seeing there, the teams that drew the eyeballs. I just think we need to take the human element out of this as much as possible. And these conference commissioners that have ties to their team, I said all along that they were going to put Miami in this if the ACC champion didn't get in because they wanted the ACC in there. They're buddy-buddy. They don't want their conference to get left out. So if we're going to do this, and I don't love the buys, and I don't want more expansion.
So you
that's
do
what we're
16 if you don't want any buys?
If we're going to it, let's just go to it, right? And they're going to expand this thing because they want more money. They want more TV money. So let's just bump it to 16. Let's go to a BCS formula. It mixes a little bit of the human element because you have the polls in there, but then you have the 3 different computer rankings and all of that. Like, we hated the BCS, but that was just because there was 2 teams. Like, if there was more teams and there was an expanded playoff there, I think we would like it. So let's just go to like some type of computer or BCS type formula that spits out, hey, these are the 16 best teams, and let's roll from there.
Well, and I could understand allowing a group of 5 in there if they are amongst the top, like 15, top
Correct.
20.
Like Boise State last year, they got beat in the playoff, but I think they deserve to be there.
Yes.
I think they were one of the 12 best teams.
Old school Boise State teams, last year's Boise State team. Even, I'm thinking back to that, was it Western Michigan who went undefeated, 12-0? Like, if you go undefeated and you have a really good season, then I'm okay with you getting in as like a 16 seed, right? Like that, I get. But it just set up 2 really bad football games yesterday on a day that we should have all been enjoying college football all day long.
Yeah, and listen, at the end, I don't believe you can complain. Like, I don't think Notre Dame or Texas really has a beef, but I don't think there's no doubt if those 2 teams were in, those would have been more entertaining games yesterday.
Oh, no doubt.
There's no question. So, And again, I don't feel sorry for either of them. Texas beat Florida, and Notre Dame beat one of those 2 crappy offenses that we saw yesterday at noon. So I don't feel bad for any of them. Those just would have been more entertaining games. 614-821-9710. We still have time to get to you, so give us a call, 614-821-9710. Final segment of the Fan Call-In Show next on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Our customers are wonderful to work with. They're intelligent. They've done their research. They like what they see. And that, I think, is the biggest reason why they come to us, because they know that they're going to get an excellent window, excellent installation, and excellent service. We're good at what we do.
Visit our showroom today at 4200 Roberts Road.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Now get a sausage McMuffin with egg extra value meal, complete with hash browns and a small coffee for just $5. Only at McDonald's for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Single item at regular price excludes tax.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 5 and 20%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. Visit amfam.com to learn more. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Thanks to your support, the nonprofits VetTix and First Tix have given away tens of millions of tickets and counting to vets currently serving military, the immediate family of troops killed in action, and our brave current and former first responders. These tickets are a meaningful way to say thank you to America's heroes. And now, we want you to be part of the mission. Got extra tickets to concerts, games, or special events? Or want to see if you qualify? We want you to go to vettix.org and firsttix.org today. Give something to those who gave.
Hey Columbus, it's Lorenzo Stiles Jr., Ohio State student athlete. Football runs deep in my family. My dad played here, and now my brother and I are proud to carry on that tradition. At Monogram Homes, family matters too. They treat every homeowner like one of their own, building with care, precision, and pride. Monogram doesn't just build houses, they build homes, crafted just for you. So whether you're starting your first home or designing your dream space, Monogram Homes has got your back every step of the way. Visit monogramhomes.net to start building today. Monogram Homes, a builder you can trust.
Do you hate holiday pictures because of your teeth?
What if a brand new smile was possible?
No matter what the current state of your mouth.
Welcome to Runyon Dental Group, home of the Implant and Smile Center,
where gorgeous, healthy smiles become a reality.
At Runyon, we've built a team of some of the most highly trained arch and implant doctors in the entire nation. This isn't an ordinary dental practice.
We believe that everyone can have a great smile,
including you, especially you. Your new smile is waiting at Runyon Dental Group.
Busy schedule? This is Ryan Krieger, and Krieger Ford has you covered. Krieger Ford offers pickup and delivery, or our mobile service van will come right to you. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today only at KriegerFord.com.
Fall is a season of change, and Hinderer Motor Company is turning over a new leaf with big savings. This is Justin Hinderer. Right now, any one of our participating locations is paying up to $3,500 over Kelley Blue Book value. That's right. Drive in your current vehicle and leaf with one of ours today. Don't wait. The leaves are falling and so are the prices. At Hinderer Motor Company, we love what moves you.
Hey, Jackets fans, we know what's on your holiday wish list. Ask your Secret Santa for a Blue Jackets holiday gift pack. You'll score 2 tickets plus a Blue Jackets Honda shirt. Learn more at bluejackets.com/holiday.
This Christmas, get a bonus AI Essentials course when you enroll in any My Computer Career IT program by the end of the year. That's a $3,900 value. Attend classes online or on campus. Enjoy lifetime job placement support and IT certifications in high demand. Go to mycomputercareer.edu today and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Conditions apply to AI offer and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
Join our resident gambling degenerates, Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas for On the Money, Sunday mornings at 9.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
All the action, none of the responsibility.
The Fan. The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Right Way Heating and Cooling and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
The Fan Call-In Show.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
The show that allows you, the sports fan, to be the star.
That's right. That's because it is your show. 614-821-9710 is the number to call every Sunday morning from 8 to 9 o'clock. That is the number that Vaughn called. So let's head out to the phone lines. Vaughn, good morning. Glad to hear from you this Sunday.
How you guys doing? Good morning.
Doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I did not catch the beginning of the show, so I'm going to just jump into whatever I wanted to talk about. I called about right after the Michigan game, and we talked about the 12-minute drive and the 6 points after halftime, and I was like, that's not enough to beat, the great teams. And you guys were like, okay, it'll be enough to beat Indiana. And I just came to the conclusion, I never want to see Ohio State run the ball 2 plays in a row. Whether it's a screen to the running back, play action pass, get him out the pocket, hit a tight end, hit a receiver. The passing game is too good to run the ball 2 plays in a row. If you know the offensive line is struggling, help, get Sayin out of the pocket. We know I'm a Georgia fan. I cannot wait until Ohio State pummels Miami and Georgia beats Ole Miss again, because this college playoff committee loves rematches for some reason. And then we have Ohio State versus Georgia in the semis again. Have a good day, y'all.
Thank you for the call, Vaughn. Appreciate that. And hey, I think it's going to be Ohio State and Georgia. I hope that's the case. And I think it will be. And Georgia's an interesting one, because I think Georgia has a pretty good defense too. And I think their offense is a little better, right, than Miami and Alabama and some of those teams. I think that can be a fun matchup with Ohio State and Georgia again. Hopefully it's a different outcome than last time we saw those two teams.
So if you have a bracket in front of you, and look, I think the 4 quarterfinal matchups are incredible, right? I think it's going to be a lot of fun, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. If you're looking at the bracket, do you have 1 through 4 seeds winning in the next round?
So I did not, because in my bracket, I did have Ohio State, Indiana, and Georgia all winning, but I had Oregon, and I still think I have Oregon beating Texas Tech. I might think that's a little tighter now after watching the second half with Oregon's defense yesterday and seeing that, but it's not far off from chalk, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 5, and I think that's the way it's going to go. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to get the crazy upsets that we did last year.
So my feeling going down the bracket, I think Ohio State wins double digits relatively comfortably over Miami. I think Indiana wins by about a touchdown over Alabama. To me, that Georgia-Ole Miss game is just about 50-50. In my bracket, I do have Georgia, but I think that game is close to a 50-50 game. And then I do believe that Texas Tech and Oregon is a 50-50 game. In my bracket, I have Oregon winning, and I have Oregon actually beating Indiana in the next round. But after watching Oregon's defense last night, that's kind of changed. That opinion's kind of changed a little bit. So if I were to re-bracket this whole thing out, I would have Ohio State, Georgia, just barely, and I would have Indiana and just barely Oregon.
Let me ask you this. If Indiana and Alabama swapped uniforms, what would you think Indiana would win by?
10-14. You're right.
And
you look at Indiana,
it's
and
just
you're like,
an inherent bias that we all have.
It truly is. It truly is. You think about Indiana.
A 7-point game.
They've got the Heisman quarterback. They've got a really great defense. They've got a couple great wide receivers. They've got a good running game. Like, you're right. Alabama, I know they got by Oklahoma, but they have struggled.
Is there a line on that game yet on the Alabama-Indiana?
It's about a touchdown. I'll pull it up. I think it's about 7.
So if it's 7, I feel like I would take Indiana and the points all day on that, because you said even just now, you were like, I think Indiana wins by 7, and then if you flip them, that's probably a 10-14.
I know.
So I feel like I would take that all day. I feel like there's a lot of people that are probably putting money on Alabama just because, well, Alabama's a football program. They've been there, and Indiana hasn't.
So your betting lines are Ohio State minus 9.5. This is at Hollywood Casino Columbus, where we do our betting at. Ohio State minus 9.5.
So that's dropped a little.
Yeah, it's come down a little bit. Oregon minus 1.5. Alabama is plus 7.5 against Indiana.
Okay.
And then you've got Georgia, who is minus 6.5 against Ole Miss. So those are your current betting lines. Hey, we're getting to the holidays, and Ryan, I got a gift for you.
I appreciate that.
And I want you to open up this gift on air right now.
Well, should we wait and do this? Like, should I hijack the first segment of On the Money? Because I have things for both you and Dave, too.
All right, that works.
Should I stick around and we all do this together?
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. Because yours and Dave's and Isaiah's gift are all the same.
Okay.
And you guys might as well just open it all at the same time.
Yeah, so why don't we do that? Why don't I stick around for the first segment of On the Money?
I love
and
that.
We will go ahead and do all of this together. You mentioned those betting lines, right? And obviously the Georgia and the Oregon Texas Tech game are the closer lines. Georgia and Ole Miss had a great game earlier this year. I believe Georgia won by 8 points in that, but it was close, and Ole Miss even had a lead in the second half in that game. I do think it's going to be a little different this time without Kiffin. I think maybe that will matter in this game with Georgia. So I do think Georgia, but I think that Georgia, Ole Miss, and I think this Texas Tech Oregon game has the potential to be an all-timer. I think this game could be great.
I agree with you. I will tell you, looking back at that Ole Miss Georgia game, Ole Miss was leading going into the fourth quarter.
That's what I thought. I knew it was later in the game.
It was 35-26. So
What was the final score?
No, that was what Ole Miss was leading going into the fourth quarter, 35-26.
I thought that was the final. What was the final score then?
43-35. Georgia had a huge fourth quarter, scored 17 points.
I would be surprised if it's that high scoring this time around. I'm guessing it's not going to be that high scoring, but
yeah, gosh, man.
Those two games both, though, could be classics.
These four quarterfinals all look amazing.
They should be fun. Can't wait for New Year's Eve in the Buckeyes in Miami and the Cotton Bowl. Don't go anywhere. Dave Biddle, Scotty Vegas, On the Money next on The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming